Well, you'll recall a train carrying hazardous material derailed on February 3rd, 2023, resulting in that fiery image that you see on your screens. Today, just 1 year later, President Biden is visiting the small town upended by the health and environmental crisis that derailment created. Local officials will brief him on recovery efforts and continued response to the effects of the derailment. CBS News White House reporter Bo Erickson is in East Palestine, Ohio. So, Bo, this is the first time, as I understand it, that the president is going to that community. What are you hearing from the residents of East Palestine and the surrounding area?
Well, this is a small town with less than 5,000 residents on the border of Ohio and Pennsylvania. And this morning, I actually went to the local grocery store here to ask them about their concerns. And every person I stopped expressed some concern that they have living in this community more than a year after that train derailment. And we can listen to some of the residents right now.
But I was out working and out in the air and you could smell it everywhere. You watched where the clouds went. I think it should have been a bigger thing on a lot of people's radar, especially the government.
You don't have that feeling of security, for instance, that people had before, where you don't really know what's going to happen 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
Two other conversations that will stick with me is just how emotional some of these people are. A lot of people didn't want to speak on camera, Lana, just because they said it was hard to talk about. But two things that will stick with me today is one father said that his family has an extra cost. They spend $50 a week on bottled water because they don't trust the water here to cook and drink. And one mother, she described that this town and her family is a paycheck to paycheck city. And she said that she actually questioned herself if she is a bad mother this year because she cannot afford to remove her family from this town. So emotions are still very raw a year after this train derailment.
Well, Bo, let's speak about the fact that this is a year later, because I understand that you spoke with area residents who had really mixed reactions to President Biden's visit. I'm going to play some of that for our viewers.
It's just a photo op for election. It's too little, too late. I don't see no purpose of his visit.
As far as the time-wise, it doesn't matter. I mean, he sent who he needed to send. He didn't have to come. It takes a lot of security for him to go anywhere. And why waste that?
Her reference, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was on the ground soon after, but the president hasn't been. So what explanation does the White House give for people who feel like he should have been there sooner?
Yeah, it's been actually 378 days since the train derailment. And what a lot of residents brought up to me today is that former President Donald Trump did come to this community shortly after this train derailment. So that was noticed by them. As you heard in those two clips, it is a little mixed reaction about the welcome for President Biden today. And maybe some of the fears could be relayed depending on what he says and who he meets with today. But one thing that really stuck out to me on a lot of the conversations is that there is a severe distrust from the Environmental Protection Agency back in Washington about what they are telling people is safe and is not safe here in this community, Lana.
Absolutely. I know the folks that I'm still in touch with there are concerned about their health. Bo Erickson, thanks.